This webinar brought to you by AACC Annual Meeting and Clinical Lab Expo Exhibitor University. My name is Teresa Ronk, and I am the marketing contact for the AACC Annual Meeting and Clinical Lab Exhibitor University. Today's webinar is entitled Invite Your Prospects and Customers, and we are very fortunate to have with us today Nick McKellen from Exhibitor Invites, who will tell you just how to do that. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type in your questions, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. Please help me in joining Nick. Nick?
Hi, thanks, Teresa. I appreciate that. So let's get started here. And now everyone should be able to see my screen. What we're going to do is spend about 15 minutes going through a few PowerPoint slides and what Exhibitor Invites means to you from being an exhibitor at AACC. After the PowerPoint slides, we're actually going to go into the Exhibitor Invite software so you can see exactly how it works. So this first slide, which will be up again at the end, you have my name, phone, and email address. And again, this will be up for you later, and I know that the webinar is being recorded as well. So let's get started. What is Exhibitor Invites? It's a free pre-show email marketing campaign. Show management has purchased it on your behalf. I believe this is the second year, and it's really a great resource, a tool, if you will, in order to start to drive traffic and network with attendees prior to the show. So it allows you to send customized emails to customers, prospects, really anyone you would like them to invite, and let them know you're at the show, here's your booth number, here's what you're presenting. And the email itself coming from you is an HTML email. All that means is it looks great. You can customize it with images and links. You don't need to know HTML or any programming at all. And on that note, each of you have an Exhibitor Invite specialist. He or she will be following up with you in a few days to help you get started, answer any questions, and create a draft, which is the initial starting point, if you will, or a template, so you can begin to work on your invites. And as you can see below, what you're offering is a free Expo pass, and value there up to $30 is really a great incentive for them to come to the show, and that incentive is coming from you. So some key points again. There's no cost at all to any component of the program. It's been paid for you, and again, it's another resource that you can use. And what we have seen is the exhibitors that use Exhibitor Invites on average get 20% more booth traffic than those that don't. So with your time and resources invested into the show, this is a great way to make the most out of that investment. And even though you're giving that free Expo pass and saving them some money, there's no limit to the number of people you could send that to. You are not paying for the pass yourself. You're really just sending out an email that says, we would love to see you at the show. Here's our booth number. Here's some more information, and enjoy this complimentary pass. So what we've seen doing this is exhibitors start to get conversations, leads, sometimes even appointments at the booth. So this is the very short list of the information that you'll need, and really setting up the campaign takes about as long as this part of the presentation. So it's very simple and straightforward, but again, with your Exhibitor Invite specialist, if you're extremely busy, they can do a lot of the work for you. So your company logo, if it needs resized or changed for some reason, we can do that. If you want us to grab it off your website, we can do that as well. Your customized message, you can say as much or as little as you like. It's unlimited in length. And if you do want some links back to your site, maybe you want some words bold or a different text color or font, we can help you with that as well. The third bullet point, product photo, it says optional. I would recommend it. There's 3 different templates to begin with. And template 3, besides a logo, also supports a product photo. So you'll see a sample of that, but it looks really great because it's very graphic. Now, some exhibitors, what they'll do with the product photo is they may have 3 images, and we could take those and crop those and edit those, for example, so you could have all 3 images on the invite. That product photo or image is also clickable as well. So perhaps what you're doing is presenting a new product in that image, and if I were to click on it, it takes me to somewhere in your website. So that's the way that the product photo works. Now let's talk about your list. Your email list, which just consists of the addresses, email addresses, no other fields, it's completely hidden, not shared with anyone, including show management. So much so, on the page, I'll show you we have a non-disclosure agreement if you want a signed copy of that. Also, if I'm logged in and I upload a list in the system, I won't even see it once it's uploaded. So your list and your data is of the utmost privacy and is not shared. The last bullet point, company contact. You want to make it as easy as possible for a prospect, for example, or a guest of the show to reach out to you if they've got some interest or want to start a conversation. So if that person is me, I can simply reply to the email. Or if you like, what I would recommend, put in a name, perhaps a title, a phone number, perhaps it's one of your salespeople or marketing people that are going to the show. This way you're giving me options and making it easier. Now that I've gotten your free Expo Pass, perhaps I'm interested in talking to you. I can reply to the email, or if I want now, I can pick up the phone and call you as well. So let's talk about safety and security. A launch email was sent out a few weeks ago from AACC, and the link that you see to the right here was part of it, exhibitorinvites.com/AACC. Within it, you received a username and password. That's how you log on to Exhibitor Invites. If for some reason you don't recall that email or don't have the password, just let me know. Or when your Exhibitor Invite specialist calls, let him or her know that you need that. We're happy to provide it. The second two bullet points, let's take a scenario here, multiple lists and changing your messaging. Let's say I've got 3 small, medium-sized lists. It doesn't matter. Let's say the first one is attendees from last year. You were at the show and you made some new relationships. Let's say your second list is sales prospects. So you've got 1 or 2 people on your sales team, and within your database you've got some contacts that you've been working with that aren't customers yet. And maybe the third list, smaller, is potential channel distribution partners, whatever it may be. Now these are 3 different audiences for the most part: past show attendees, sales prospects, and perhaps possible partners. So the same message in the email may not be applicable to all of them. So what Exhibitor Invites allows you to do, and this shows a lot of flexibility, is I can customize the campaign. So message A goes to list A, message B to audience B, and so forth. Because what we want you to do and what you should want to do is really tailor the right message to the right audience. So there's some flexibility there, and for a lot of the exhibitors, that makes a lot of sense because their lists are coming from different audiences. So the last bullet point, managing the scheduling of the campaigns. Not only do you control the customization and the content in that customization, and the images are there, you also control the date and even the time that the campaign goes out. My recommendation, since we're about a little over 90 days out, would be perhaps sending something out in the next week or 2 when you're ready, a reminder next month, and then about 10 days to 2 weeks before the show, what we've seen work very well is one last email so that, before, for example, I get ready to leave my office and I'm getting ready to go to Atlanta on a plane, I see your logo one more time, I see your booth number one more time, and perhaps a product image. So really with the 90 days out, you have some time to start to build and network, sending out your invitations. So this slide I'm going to leave up. We'll go back to it in a few minutes. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Exhibitor Invite software. So everyone now, your screen should have changed, and it changes to the point where you're able to see the show page for AACC for Exhibitor Invites. So what I want to do, before we move along here, you can see we are an official show vendor, and I appreciate Teresa taking the time to schedule this for us today. And here at the bottom is live chat. So anytime during most business hours if you need help, and then customer support. This is where I would log in with my username and password. But even before I do that, what you can see here is your exhibitor invite specialist. His name is Greg in this case. His name is a link to his email, and here's his phone number. And the last item before we log in, here's this non-disclosure agreement I was talking about. So if I take off the highlighter, and let's clear it here, I can click on the non-disclosure agreement so you can see what that looks like, and it's ready to be signed if someone in your organization would like that. So now let's go back and log in with my test login, and this would be, again, what you received in the email. I hit enter, and now what you can see is I've logged in successfully, and what I've got is a contact name, company, phone, email, and of course booth number. Now, this data is derived from the show, so whatever you provided when you registered, this is what we have. And obviously changes can occur, so if I want to make a change, I can hit edit, and you can see I can change everything but the company and the booth number. So let's talk about that quickly. There's another spot in the invitation where you could change the company name. So if your company name is ABC, but perhaps you're doing business as, or you're known as 123, there's another spot where I can put 123. In regards to booth number, since that's a critical component of the invitation, we want to make sure that your booth number is correct. Sometimes there are some changes. You move across the floor, whatever the case happens to be, but let us know, and we can change that booth number to make sure it's correct while we're still in the template. And as you can see to the right, I still have my live chat if I need help in customer support. So now here I am on step 2, actually step 1, but here's the steps in order. Upload a list, enter my information, view the invites, and then schedule them. But again, if your exhibitor invite specialist is working with you, he or she can do most of this and keep your task fairly minimal. Now what we've found is the exhibitors that do indeed use the exhibitor invites program, about half of them work very closely with their specialist, sending emails back and forth and phone calls so that that specialist does all the editing and your invite looks just like you would like. Now let's upload a sample list. What you can see as far as my options here, copy and paste, enter a text file. Those two say automatic because they populate in real time. The next one, Excel, that takes about a day to load. So let's do copy and paste. The only rule of thumb is emails must be on their own line. So what I'm going to call this is, let's say my list is 2004 attendees. And I could very simply start to type those in. But what I'm going to do, and it doesn't really matter if you see it as I switch screens, I'm just going to go to Excel, grab a sample list. Whoops. Let's get back to the program. There. Grab a sample list and paste it. Now, this does two things here. It will dedupe. So if you do happen to have duplicates, it will let you know. And if something's not correct, it'll suggest, it'll stop and let you know. So let's remove the dot and .com in this last one. And we submit the list, hit OK, and what you can see is 17 emails were uploaded, but one was invalid. I can fix it and append the list. So now what I'd like to show you out of these 18 emails, even though I'm logged in, I go to the bottom here, and there you go. There's my list, and I can't see it. So now let's go back to entering custom information. Do you remember where I said if you go DBA as 123 doing business as, that's what you could put here, and that's what appears. Browse for your logo just on your hard drive. You can email us the logo. We can grab it off your website. Personalized text. There's already information here. So this is how we create the draft. So when your exhibitor invite specialist calls to follow up, they'll already have a draft for you. You can edit this, add it. We can change it, whatever you like. Below that is the company contact information that I talked about. So now you're also giving someone an option to pick up the phone. And then below that, for invite number 3, the product image. What I've also seen for the product image is if you've got like a YouTube video hosted on your site, you could put that here. The first frame would be there. They can click on it. It would open the video. This product image is clickable, as I've mentioned, for a site. And then it has its own description, which is also unlimited. So let's save that. And now I can look at them in a browser like Explorer or Firefox. So let's open Test Invite 3. And what you can see here once I put on the marker is all your contact information, your logo, your product image, custom text. And for example, if I click here, it can take me back to my site. Or let's go back to Test Invite 3. Let's clear this ink here. I can register, and it would take me to the registration site. So that's Invite 3. Invite 1, for example, very similar, but no product image. So I'm going to close this out. And here, I can view that same invitation in an email. I would simply put whatever email addresses that I like. And that's how we get the draft over to you. Once I'm pleased with how the email invitation looks, I continue to step 4. And that very simply allows me to schedule. So here, if I had multiple lists, which I do, I could schedule one of them, all of them, or some of them. But in this case, let's take the 18 emails I just loaded. And, you know, we've got till the end of July. So let's do this. Let's do beginning of May in the afternoon. We'll schedule Invite 3. And obviously, Test Exhibitor Invites would be your company name. Invite 3 is the one that has the product image. And let's go out to June. And in the morning, send out a reminder. And then towards the end of July, let's say we're the 26th, so let's take the 16th and send out one last invite. I don't have to. I can send none. But what I found is right before the show, you send out one other item as a reminder and preview the schedule. So in this case, May 4th, June 10th, and July 16th is when I'm sending out the invitations. So it's a very simple process, yet extremely flexible to meet the needs for most exhibitors. And what I've done now is I've just gone back to this panel here with my contact information. So again, as Teresa said, as we wrap up, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Or when your exhibitor invite specialist follows up to offer you that draft, you can ask them questions as well. So I appreciate it. And before we get to any questions, I just want to say two things. Number one, thank you for your time here today. I greatly appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck at the show coming up in Atlanta in July. And secondly, just to recap, with the time and resources you have invested in the show, management has really stepped forward to provide this program for you. And as I've mentioned, those exhibitors that do use it on average have 20% more booth traffic than those that don't. So it really is a great resource for you to start to network and communicate with your attendees. And again, even if you're busy, we're here to help you every step of the way. So I appreciate that. What I'm going to do at this point is give back the screen and obviously the presentation back to Teresa to see if there's any questions or anything else. So again, I appreciate it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Nick. Okay, well, we do have a few questions. You can go ahead as we're answering the questions that we have, go ahead and type in other questions that you may think of. And the first question that I got was, will you email the PowerPoint presentation to us? Yes, I meant to tell you that at the beginning of the presentation, that I will be emailing you the PowerPoint presentation in the next few days. And we, as Nick said, we are recording this presentation. So we will also have this up online in the Exhibitor University webpage. Also, I wanted to make note that the presentation or the actual page, the Exhibitor Invites login page that Nick showed you online, you can access that through our website. You just go under the Exhibitor Resource tab, and you will see Invite Your Customers, and you click on that, and it'll bring you right to that page. Okay, so another question we have is, Nick, do you track opens or click-throughs in the emails?
Sure. We have something called a campaign report, It's complimentary. I would ask for it, a few days after you send out each invite. And the campaign report in Excel will show opens, click-throughs, as Teresa mentioned, so that if you've got any links in there, anyone who opts out, they have the proper way to opt out. And we also have those that have gone to the registration page. So it's a very handy report to have, and we're happy to send that to you so you can see statistics on your campaign.
That's great. Thank you. And then the next question is, how many campaigns are allowed?
Oh, that's actually a good question. What we've seen most exhibitors do is they'll do one campaign with 2 or 3 emails. However, let's say that you like product image, number 3, template 3 with the product image, but you've got multiple audiences, or you want to send out template 3 2 or 3 times but use different images. We can set that up kind of as a sub-campaign. So your ID and password 1 would allow you to use template 3. Your ID and password 2 can do that. And again, with 90 days, and sometimes exhibitors have different audiences, they do have multiple campaigns. If you're doing something like that, you can do it on your own, or again, we're happy to set all that up so it's a very easy process.
Great. The next question I can answer, it says, are we provided a list of AACC attendees from last year or past years? And the answer to that is we do. AACC does sell the pre- and post-registration list for a one-time use, but it is just a mail list. They do not give out the attendee email addresses. And the next question, is there a limit on the number of email addresses?
No, there's not. And the nice thing about that, too, because you're offering that incentive with the free Expo Pass, it doesn't matter how many you send out. And something else to consider, you want to start to send that out a little early, because let's say I was attending and I was at the point where I'm paying, to register for the Expo Pass. If I get your email too late, I've already registered. So it's great to send that out sooner. Because again, you're not just sending an email that says, come see us. You're sending out an email with that pass, so there's value there. So my suggestion is at least the first email, send out as soon as you can.
Great, thank you. Good. Regarding the email list, can we edit the content on the list or add after we create the list?
Sure, that's actually a very good question. So let's say you have a list of 100 contacts, and it's already gone out or it's supposed to go out. Let's say that you want to add 3 more people. We see this all the time. Hey, we created the list, but you know what? We've got someone who's attending. We just found out we want to invite them. The easiest way to do it is just create a new list, but what a lot of exhibitors will do is they'll just email their specialist and say, hey, here's 2 more people. Can you send it out to them? Now, if you have a list of 100 and at some point you want 2 removed, as long as that invite didn't go out, we can go in, but what we basically have to do is remove the list and then add it without the 2. We see more often than not people forgetting a few people. Oh, we wanted to add these 2 or 3. So it's just a matter of typing in those emails, but your specialist can do it for you if you like.
Great. Okay, what if I want to use invite number 3 more than once, but with different pictures?
Yeah, again, that's just creating, we see that quite a bit, because invite 3 with the pictures is really nice. And again, if you have different products, or depending on the time of season, what we've seen is, hey, I want to send this one out in May, but I want to send about something else out in June, and the last one in July is something else, because I'm promoting 3 different products or whatever it happens to be. We'll create 3 different logins for you. So login A with the picture, login B with a different picture. But that's extremely common, especially now that you have a little time before the show to really think about how you want to market it.
Okay. And here's a question. I heard about a web invite. What is that?
So let's say that you use the email campaign in 20, 30, 40, 1,000. It doesn't matter how many emails you use. We have something called a web invite, and it's a unique link or a URL that's created for you. And when you click on it, it's like opening the email. So the recipient or whoever clicks on it would still receive that Expo Pass. But where exhibitors use that is they may use it in their email signature or on their website, or if the business has a social media page. So you could put a button in front of it or something saying, join us at AACC in Atlanta in July. Click here for your Expo Pass. So in that case, you don't need to know their email address, but if someone's hitting a landing page of yours, or even your sales reps or someone, maybe you want to put it in your email signature. It's just very complementary to the email campaign, and it's something else you can do to kind of extend your reach and promote your presence at the show.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Nick. This was very informative. We don't have any more questions right now, but if you do think of some more questions that you'd like to ask Nick, as you can see on the slide deck that I'm going to be providing after this webinar, it does have his contact information, so you can contact him after the presentation. So I want to thank everybody for participating today, and have a great day. Goodbye.